So, if you are easily triggered about huge quantities of yarn that people show on YouTube, some of it I've bought, some of it I've received. So, if you are easily triggered about that, if you don't want to hear about non so mindful buying, one or two impulse buys that I made, please watch another of my videos. I just looked, it's the 201st video that I am making. So there are plenty of videos you can watch. So, if this is something that is complicated for you, there are many other videos and people to watch. So hello everyone, welcome or welcome back to my very small place on the internet where I talk about knitting, my knitting life, my knitting adventures, my current state with my two broken wrists. My name is Isabelle, I am in France in Normandy, and today we are going to talk about drowning in yarn. I guess that's going to be the title of the video. It's a video that I have not recorded since I broke my wrists 2 months ago, and it was one of the videos I was going to be recording just after I broke my wrists. So there are a lot of things to say about things that I've bought, yarn that I've bought after April or something like that, or May. After April, because I broke my wrists at the beginning of May. And also that yarn, that sneaky beast, that yarn that came into my life thanks to some of the lovely yous who watch the channel and are part of this very, very beautiful community. So my yarn no buy year evolved to a yarn mindful buy. I will just talk about a few things as an introduction just after that. So if, and a bit of context on the project. So if that is of any interest to you, please stay tuned. Okay, so a little bit of context, and just before that, a couple points. My windows are open because we are back to, it's a gloomy day, but we are back to a little bit of warmth. So I'm opening the windows and such. And there is a construction site at my neighbor's house. So you may hear, if there is too much noise, I will close the windows. So my cats are going in and out. And I'm on my lunch break, so I have to eat lunch, and I'm afraid this is going to be a very long video. So I may film that in several sequences and maybe edit and upload in several sequences and several videos, because, or most probably two, if not one, because we are on a Thursday and the video is supposed to be up on a Friday, and editing time and stuff like that. So that's my own thing. I mean, it's okay. But I have dragged my feet to make this video because it's not that I am ashamed, but a little bit of the quantity of yarn that I made it to my life and that I want to be talking about. Even though I've made the calculations, the numbers are in check, I must say, compared to other years and what I want to be doing. So it's okay, but it's a lot, and it's a lot. One, as I said, because when I fall and broke my wrist, I was going to film one of these videos. So there is that part that is a backup that I wanted to be talking about. And the second part is because You are just incredible. And one of you said, may I send a small care package? And another one said, okay, I was on vacation. I thought of you and I got yarn for you. Anyway, it's a truckload. It's a truckload. It's a trainload of yarn. And once again, if this is something that makes you feel uncomfortable, please watch some other videos. I never spend some money I do not have, even though right now I have far less money than usual because I'm on sick leave and I've been on sick leave last year at the end of last year for my hip, so I'm with a half salary. And the insurance company that should cover part of the difference is also dragging their feet and asking for more information and documents and stuff like that. And they mail by snail mail their requirements and their questions to me. So it takes a week for the mail to get to me, even though they have an online whatever site or cloud drive or something. Okay, I need to be patient, which is for that not one of my forte. So yarn is a comfort. I know yarn is a comfort, and so I'm gonna be talking about all that and two patterns, one that I've bought and one that one of the other lovely yous have, pushed into my Ravelry library. Okay, let's start as I've just been talking about. Let's start with the patterns because that's going to be the shortest segment. Two patterns I have bought since last time I've talked with you. The first one, not bought, I've entered my life because one of them I did not buy, as I just said, was a present by one of you, by Lisa, who is Saratoga Knitting on YouTube. I will leave a link to her channel down below. Not that she needs anything from me, but if you don't follow her, please give her a follow. In no order, the one that I bought is Louise by Natasha Hornby. I bought it the day it was out, and I see it's a €6 and 75 cents pattern. But I bought it on the day it was released. As soon as I saw it, I said, oh, this one is for me, and it's just to go with one of the yarn that I am going to be talking about. And I bought it for €5 and 74 cents. She always have an offer on her patterns on the day of the release or some days after. And I will be talking about Filcolana Merci that I had bought at one of my local yarn stores for summer knits. And I've been starting Louise. I've already talked about it to you. And I haven't not knit a lot on it since I've showed it to you, if any. But anyway, it's a tank tee, and I want to wear some kind of tank tee on under shirts. I do wear that a lot, and I did want a beautiful one that I could show the top on the tank. So I'm knitting with that cotton and wool yarn on this very neutral brown khaki color. So that's the first pattern, and if I bought it on an impulse, it was not at all an impulse because I had been looking for, it was an impulse because I bought it the day I saw it, but I was looking for a pattern, a tank pattern for that yarn. And I was looking and looking and looking, and as I had not found anything that I liked, I was just waiting for the right moment, the right occasion and stuff like that. So when Louise was published, it was the right occasion. I had the yarn, it was what I was looking for, so I bought it. And regarding patterns, I'm not going to talk about all of the bundles that I have, that I make to store and save pattern ideas and patterns I would like to be making, that I would like to be knitting, that I would like to be buying. And I don't buy them unless or until I'm ready to cast them on. So I bought the pattern, I had the yarn, and I think I cast it out the same day or the day after. But anyway, that's one way for me not to buy too many patterns, because after buying too much yarn, I did fall into buying too many patterns because I was restraining myself with my no-buy project, buying yarn. So I did default onto yarn and books and stuff, onto patterns and books and stuff like that. So when I see a pattern that I want to be making, I place it in a bundle. I want to make bundle, and I've made several bundles over the years. I think I have 3 now. Since I've started that project, I have a bundle for summer knits, for Nutiden, for other purposes. And whenever I go and fulfill that purpose, I, delete the bundle. I haven't cleaned out my bundle list, so you can go check on my Ravelry page. So there are many things there, and I think at the end of the year, what is going to remain is my want to make. And if there are some other specific bundles that I have made that still have patterns into them, I will move it into the want to make list, or I will just remove them because my interest has faded. And this is one thing, less with yarn. But with patterns, when I did overbought patterns 3-4 years ago, there are still patterns in my queue and that I bought at the time that I have not casted on. So there is no use for these patterns to be in my library and money spent on things that I do not cast on or do not use. So that was the perfect example of a mindful buy that was made on an impulse the day I saw the pattern. The next one I want to be talking about is Dune Drifter by Woolen Pine. A very beautiful t-shirt that has a very interesting construction and way of knitting and everything. So Lisa, dear Lisa, thank you so much. You pushed that pattern into my library, and I have a hard time. It's just me. I have a hard time receiving things, so I'm looking around to do the same for you. Because when I receive yarn or presents and stuff like that, I can't. It's a difficult thing for me to receive things, and I just can't stay without giving something back. Maybe not for an even amount or something, but the intention is here. So thanks a lot. It's in my queue. I will make it. I think for now I have several projects on my needles. So I want to clear them out and decide which yarn I'm going to be using to make the Dune Drifter, or maybe buy some specific yarn for it. I don't know yet, but I will do that. So once again, thank you so much. I'm very happy I have this new one into my library. Okay, yarn. I'm not sure how I may do that. Maybe just in chronological order. One of the first yarn that you have already seen on my channel that I have been knitting with is Isayer Marilyn. So I bought Marilyn. I bought 5 or 6 skeins of Marilyn, 5 skeins I think, at my little local yarn store, and I did spend 52 euros. Yes, I just checked. I bought 6 skeins. So to finish the t-shirt, the Colocasia t-shirt that I was knitting, I just went into the 5th one, so I have almost 2 skeins left. So I will see what I'm going to be doing with that, if I have anything. I know she takes yarn back, so I may return one of the skeins, but it's the almost the end of the season. She doesn't have that colorway any longer, so maybe it's better for me to find some kind of little shawl. I have many little shawls. I want to be little summer shawls. I want to be making, or summer scarves. So I just may do that. And that kind of denim, faded denim color is really perfect. I love it. The Colocasia t-shirt is finished. It's on just next to me, but I guess I will save that for another time. So Marilyn is 80% wool and 20% flax or linen, and it's 208 meters for 50 grams. So it's a fingering weight. The one interesting thing with Marilyn is that even though it's 80% wool, it's kind of stiff. It's kind of stiff. If I can find, it's stiff. It's now not very bouncy. It's kind of sturdy and stiff, such linen is, but not as much as 100% linen or 100% other plant fibers. And it's really nice to be knitting with, and also it's really nice to be wearing. So I still blocked it. I did not block it. I washed it by hand and let it air dry. So I won't put it in the washing machine because 80% wool is not going to stand, I guess, a wash cycle. But anyway, it's a very summery, fresh and still a bit warm yarn to be knitting with, and it's a nice one. It's a very nice one, and I'm still craving C's of stockinette because of my wrists, and I can make complicated movements. So this one was the perfect one. I did knit on 3mm needles. I did knit a whole t-shirt on 3mm needles. This is the t-shirt. I should show it to you that way so that you see the fabric. And I do love it. It has the linen properties. That is that it doesn't forgive your mistakes. It shows all of your mistakes if you have ones. And I've talked about it in another video. I have a short row method that I like that do not show at all on this fabric with linen, so I was very happy with it. So I will most certainly buy some other Marilyn in my future, maybe save that to stripe a sweater and see at the end of the season if she has some kind of a clear white or cream type of color to stripe it and make it another stripy t-shirt of some kind. But yes, I will definitely knit again with that yarn, and I do definitely recommend it to you. Okay, next, another t-shirt type of yarn, summer type of yarn. I did buy the same day Maillot Garn, which is a new yarn to me. It's a newer French yarn, Maillot Garn Tweed Supreme. Tweed Supreme is a very light fingering weight. It's so it's 100% superfine merino, 360 meters per 50 grams. I did buy 5 skeins of Marilyn, and I used 4.5 skeins or something, almost 4.5 skeins. My neighbor's grandchildren are outside. You may hear them. I don't mind kids playing around, and I do mind a lot more about engine working. Anyway, with that, you've already seen me wearing it. I made another t-shirt. I loved the fabric. Please have a look at this fabric. The tweedy bits on the dark, I guess I should show it that way to you, on the dark blue fabric, and you see hair Camera is also unforgiving. You see hair and some kind of maybe cat hair or stuff like that. So you see the tweedy bits. You see the tweedy bits are really beautiful. The yellow and the bright blue and some kind of a beigey tweeds too on the darker blue background are really nice. One thing that I have said, so in an Excel type of t-shirt, I did not have a pattern for that one. I just came up with it. I used over 3.5, or less than 4 skeins, so it goes a very long way. 3mm needles too. And one thing that I have said to the lady who sold it to me, as you can see here when I show it to you, it does peel a bit. So I have not been depiling it, even though, it peels a bit, but not a lot, because I've been wearing it quite a bit. So this is what I said to the lady in the store. Please tell the people who will buy this yarn that it may be peeling a bit once knit. So, but anyway, will I use that yarn again? Yes, it's really beautiful. It's really soft. It's 100 merino. So it's warmer than merino, even though it's a lighter fabric. But for the summers in Normandy, it's just perfect. And once again, I have knit a large t-shirt, or an extra large t-shirt, I would say, with just over 3 skeins and a half. So it's a little bit of yarn goes a long way. Same thing. Will I return it? I know she doesn't have almost no colorway left of the Tweed Supreme. It was a really successful yarn for her this summer. No, I will most probably, what I have in my mind for now with what is remaining, because it's quite a lot of yardage and it can go quite a long way. It's some kind of a very light cape, poncho type of thing, or these wide scarves you knit in one piece, a big rectangle, and you sew at one end, so you just put your head in it and it covers your shoulders. So I may do that with what is left of the Tweed Supreme to go with the t-shirt or to go with other things, because that color just goes with about everything I have in my wardrobe. And to continue on the same thing, the Filcolana Merci that I also bought at the same time. I may have already talked about it. I absolutely do not recall. I bought 6 skeins of that, and I spent €45 for the 6 skeins. And this is my first skein, and I've knit, the top of the back and a little bit of the front. So I'll see how many skeins I will need to knit the Louise tank. I guess I will also have some leftovers. So once again, I will see how much I do use to make a tank, and I may make a second one, just a plain, maybe stockinette one or something. Because if I have enough, I will make another garment with what is left. So you see, 3 summer yarn, and so I can talk about wearing on Filcolana Merci. I haven't said Filcolana Merci is cotton and wool. It's 50% cotton and 50% wool, and it is 200 meters per 50 grams. So once again, a fingering weight. So 2 fingering weight and 1 light fingering weight. Wool idea for summer for you, maybe. It's very late to be talking about summer ideas. This is why I wanted to make one of my first videos in May about this, so that you can have some ideas. Anyway, that may be for another suggestion for another time, another year, for people who are going to be moving into the summer. But these 3 summer yarns I can recommend as far as wearing and as far as knitting. minus the Filcolana Merci, the cotton and wool one, because I'm still knitting on it. So it's a nice wool to be knitting with. It's not as stiff as Marilyn, even though it has 50% cotton. It's still a bit stiff, but it's not as stiff to be knitting with, and it's a more homogeneous color. So I like the fact that the Marilyn has different shades because the linen doesn't take the dye the same way wool does. So you see you have different shades in the fabric. That I like a lot. The fabric with the Filcolana is a bit more, I'm sorry, this is making some noise, is more homogeneous as far as, you know, the color is more homogeneous. The stitch definition is really nice. I'm sure it's going to be a wonderful piece to be wearing when it's very hot or with as an underlying piece. So yes, I'm very happy with these yarns that I've bought. So next, some yarn that I have received, and then after that we will talk about the big numbers, and maybe I will have a lunch break in between where I will eat because I still have things to be doing after that. One of you from Australia sent me a huge package. These earrings were in the package. There was some tea, there was some cookies for my children, chocolate and everything, and a huge load of yarn. I will never, ever be able to thank you enough. I will never be able to make it up for it. And I'm very humbled that you've sent that many things to me. I don't know where to begin with. Anyway, first thing, you have seen it already. In the package, there was some La Bien-Aimée, Merino, Decay, and Mohair. So you said that the irony doesn't escape you because this yarn, you bought it from France and sent it back to me. In Vespa Graffiti for the Merino Decay, I can't show it to you because I've knit almost everything. And I've knit almost half of the Soyeux, which is the companion, the Vespa companion mohair. And I made the Moth hood. I'm not going to wear it because it's still a bit warm. And what I said when I showed it to you when I had knit the hood is that I do love these little hoods with shorter straps because some of them are too long and you don't know what to make out with and everything. One of you said that was exactly the point, and Moth maybe exactly what you were looking for because you had already made a hood with long straps and it was too long and you could not wear it, and if I recall correctly, you had already unraveled it or something. And some other people, several of you said Moth was a very nice little scarf and a very nice little hood that you would be making, because once you put it on your back, you know, it can be, it's a hood. It's a hood, but it can be a scarf that you just wear like that. It's warm on your back. I'm going to take it out because it's a little bit too warm for me right now. But it's really, really, really nice. So the fabric is perfect. It's garter stitch. It's an easy pattern. You make I-cords and you pick up stitches. That's the most complicated part. And then you shape the hood. But anyway, this color, like the other color, you know, it's absolutely into my color realm. It's a light turquoise, I would say. And thing is, with the remaining of the mohair, I do have several balls of different colors mohair that I have, fingering or lace mohair, that I have accumulated over the time. And I want to collect them because I have one pattern in mind. if at some point I'm almost decided about what to do with these partial skeins of mohair, I will tell you, and it's not a fade. It's not a fade, my friends. It's not a fade. So next, in the same package, can you believe that? There was some La Bien-Aimés, Cory Confetti, yarn that is not made any longer in the grey bow or grey colorway. I will write it down below because I think it's grey something. Anyway, in the grey colorway, they had several iterations of the same idea of the grey one. They had blues and they had pinks and other colors that they made the Cory Confetti yarn, and they use the Cory yarn that they mix with the leftovers from their meals, from their yarn, and to make that tweedy, perfect, beautiful yarn. That was one of my yarn kryptonites. There was another one in the package, if you can imagine that. One of my yarn kryptonites that is not made any longer. La Bien-Aimée produces some of other kind of confetti yarn because, I mean, I think it was a successful release, a successful type of yarn. So I was not worried that they would not be making any other type of yarn, but not that one. So they are making another one right now. And it was one of my yarn kryptonites, and when it disappeared, I had given up the idea knitting with it and have it in my hands and everything. I had said, okay, it's not there anymore. It's not there any longer. I will never knit with it. So be it. And you see, it came into my life. It's absolutely perfect with these bright colors and some kind of pastel ones. All the bits that they have left from their own meal, they place it into it. And I have a couple pattern ideas for this one. For now, I think I would like to make Perennial by Noragon. It's from the worsted book by La Bien-Aimée, and Perennial calls for Cory worsted, so I guess it would be just perfect to knit the Perennial with it. I had already tried to use some other yarn, but I was completely off gauge, so I may do that with that. So, I mean, as one of you said, one other kryptonite unlocked, and as I'm just going to be talking about next, there is another one. Okay, if it was not enough, I may repeat myself. They were 5 100-meter skeins of the Coral Sea colorway of Fiber Arts Shed, also from Australia. And so this is 100% wool, and it's woolen spun. And you see, I'm not sure why I did not cake this one. This is some kind of spin cycle-like type of yarn that changes colorways. This colorway doesn't exist any longer. I could find the yarn, the company to link the yarn down below, but it doesn't exist any longer. And the spin cycle, long or slow changing colorways were one also of my kryptonites. And one of you had said at the time, several years ago, I've talked about that you were not sure I would like spin cycle because it's a superwash yarn. This one is 100% wool. Absolutely perfect. The colors are just perfect. And I've been looking for something to make with it. I have an idea. I will talk about it later on in another video because it's a little bit too going to be very long for today. I'm just going to talk about one pattern, and I may ask you for your input at some later time. But anyway, I have 500 meters of that, and I will make a color work because I think with some of the yarn that I have a sweater quantity of that yarn. I think it's gonna be contrasty enough, but still soft. And this yarn is yarn that I bought several years back that I have had in my stash for a long time. That is 20%, I have to check, 20% mohair, corded mohair, so not the fluffy one, and 80% yarn from the sheep from the valley where the mohair is made in the Pyrenees, my beloved Pyrenees. And I wanted to go back there this summer, but I won't because I'm not sure I can drive that far. But anyway, I will make some kind of color work and I want to use all of it. So I have all of the self-changing yarn, all of it. So I have a couple ideas. I just said I was going to talk about it to you because I brought up the patterns. No, I'm not going to talk about it to you. I'm just going to let you admire that absolutely perfect yarn. I'm just going to tell you how lucky I feel, how humble I feel after receiving all that, and how it just before I started to knit with, and I made the moth hood. Just before I started to knit with it and start to think about it, I did have hours of playful and pleasant daydreaming about future projects. So when I want to cast on, I will talk about the patterns contenders for that yarn. And if it was not enough, there was also 2 skeins of sock wool. Super soft sock by, one is by Fiber Lily. This one is by Fiber Lily. It's 100 grams, 390 meters, so it's fingering weight. 75% super fine Australian superwash merino and 25% nylon. Look at that color. Look at that. How fun it's going to be knitting socks with that. And the second one is by Rose Hip Island. So once again, Australian yarn. So this one says hand-dyed from Tasmania. Does this one say anything? Not that I can find. So this lily kind of colorway, which is called Hot Cuppa, is this delicious sock, 85% Australian superwash merino and 15% nylon, 400 meters per 100 grams. So once again, it's sock yarn, and look how fun this sock yarn is going to be. And you know, when I just said I don't like much superwash yarn, I should have said in advance, except for socks, because I do use superwash yarn for socks, because there is no way I'm going to hand wash all of my socks, even though I don't have that many right now. But super soft wool and nylon make it much more durable, and I would hate to spend time knitting socks and it would be ruined in a few times I would wear that. So perfect sock yarn. There was one contrasty little skein there, so I might make a contrasting part or use it as a whole somewhere. And one thing that I was thinking with these sock yarn is that, and I have another skein from La Bien-Aimée that I have not knit yet. So this precious sock yarn, I think what I am going to be doing is making plain, maybe with a stitch motif or a light one, because these colors are quite busy. Making a plain sock, no contrast, whatever, so that if I wear clogs or if I wear some kind of shoes, they can show most of the colorway. So I have 3 with the La Bien-Aimée that I bought in Paris last year. I have 3 that I want to be making simple socks with them. And I may just do that to start working on socks with my broken wrists and see how it goes. No color work, no complicated stuff, and yes, that's what I'm going to be doing. This package that you sent me was overblown me, made me cry. I was so humbled when I received it, when I opened it, and I will never be able to thank you enough. Okay, second take. I did not hit the record button. I'm hungry. I need to stop a bit to eat before I just start to say stupid things. Anyway, just a quick mention as we were talking about sock yarn. One of the ladies from my local yarn store was giving away to people who were there for a tea and knitting session at her store that she organizes, was giving away lots of partial skeins of yarn that she had been using, and I left most people take most of the skeins that were there. At the end, there were these 3 skeins of yawl yarn, sock yarn, that she had been using. They are just partial, and I took them with me thinking they would make nice contrasty colors for socks. So it's the yawl superwash sock yarn. It's 75% wool, it's 25% polyamide, 210 meters per 50 grams. So I just said, okay, don't worry, I'm taking these ones with me. They will make nice either contrasty or just plain socks or part of socks. There is that burgundy type of colorway, the mushroomy one. I think I already have something that is very close to that, and a cinnamon type of colorway. And it was before I received all of that, and I wanted to be talking about it, and I left most people take the nicest yarn, because I do have plenty and I don't need any, and I can buy some nice yarn if I want to. So I just took these ones so that she doesn't have any real leftovers. I mean, she had been demonstrating also for people who were taking classes with her, and she just wanted to get rid of them. So I took these ones with me. So next, another very humbling present. I'm so fortunate to have you into my life. I'm so fortunate. One of you went on vacation and said, okay, I went to see a local stores, and I did buy yarn for myself, of course, and I did buy some for you. Okay, so first, this yarn is called Skady. Skady is merino d'Arles, so it's French merino from the southeast of France, the same sheep that Derrerum Natura uses for their own yarn. So, but it's processed elsewhere. So it's 21 micron, and it's 100 grams, 200 meters per 100 grams. So it's decay. And this colorway, I'm not sure. So these are numbers. So there are 2 skeins of this yarn. So here you have the front of the ball band, and here is the side of the ball band. You have a barcode here and all the specifications here. So in these 2 colorways, there are 2 skeins. One of these very perfect grayish baby blue, and one of natural color. So what I was thinking is make a caul, and once again I will talk about that later on and when I'm ready to cast on. It's a bit heavier yarn, and I have one winter knit undergoing for my sister-in-law. I may wait for my current winter knit to be done and maybe cast it on. And I may try brioche. And Nancy Merchant has 3 patterns, at least one that I saw for a caul, and I think there is enough. So I may try a brioche caul with that. I may try something else. I will let you know once I cast this on, and I may, ask once again for your recommendation if I am, kind of in doubt of what I need to make. But I think a 2-color brioche caul would be nice, because I've never knit brioche, so that would be a nice one. So this yarn is extremely soft, and when I say extremely soft, let me take that out. When I say extremely soft, it's extremely soft. It's really beautiful, and I'm sure it's going to be very bouncy. It's already really bouncy in the skin, and I think it will be a delight to knit with, and it will be a delight to be wearing. So in the package was also Gabo wool. The name of the wool is Fog. So Fog is 44% Pima cotton, 28% baby alpaca, 28% fine merino wool, fine merino wool, 125 meters per 50 gram, and it's a blown yarn. I think it's blown within the cotton core. And does this one have a number? No, it's ice blue. It's ice blue. So it's blown around the cotton core. It's so soft, and there is a sweater quantity. There are 10 balls of these. So I have 1250 meters. So this is a sweater quantity. And I also have ideas. I've already talked about it with the one of you who got me this yarn, and you said that maybe it's a sweater with a big collar, that it may be a little drapey due to the alpaca. I don't know. I will have to swatch, but I think the cotton core will make it quite sturdy. So it's a pattern that is already in my library that I've been eyeing for a long time. It's in the same Lane magazine. I'm not sure I recall the number from last winter. I need the Dazzler, and Dazzler is on the front cover. It's in that book, and you said that you may want to get the book too. So anyway, yes, one of my favorite color. And if you've heard the neighbor's dog bark, it's because he sees my cats and doesn't like my cats very much. But my cats do manage. He's behind the separation, so it's okay. Anyway, one that I was not expecting, and this one is made in Poland. Yeah, you were in Poland when you got that one, and this one, the Skady, is made in Turkey. So 2 yarns I will not find in France, I guess. I won't have any opportunity to be knitting with. I do now, as many thanks to one of you. So I also was so very happy, so very humble that you would consider gifting me with something. So yeah, I will never be able to thank you all enough. I'm not doing this for that. I'm doing this because I enjoy it, because this is now part of my knitting world. You are now part of my knitting world. This project is part of my knitting world. And if I can give you some ideas, I don't mean influence you, not at all. I don't want to be an influencer. But if I can give you some ideas that you can bring into your house, into your knitting life, and into your wardrobe, that makes me so happy, and it's enough for me for the time that I'm spending filming and editing videos, even though I'm kind of worried about editing about this one right now for tomorrow. So I should hurry up. Okay, next and last, I need to go have my lunch. Next is the yarn that I got at Le Fil de la Manche. I made several purchases. One of them was an impulse purchase on the spot. I've already talked about it, and you've already seen me knitting with the yarn that I bought there. I saw the yarn in my first round in the morning, and it stuck with me. And it's something that I had never been knitting with. So it's a company in Normandy. It's two hours away from me, on the other side of the Rouen, the city. So it's more than 2 hours away from me. It's Polo and Company, and it's Bourrette de Soie. Bourrette de Soie, so it's the lilac colorway. Bourrette de Soie is that silk that kind of is raw silk that is not as processed and shiny. It is a bit shiny, but not as shiny as the kind of silk you usually see. And you can see there are some variation in the way the silk takes the dye, and they say when they dye silk and mohair in the same bath, the silk yarn does whatever it wants with the dye that they offer. So I got also the mohair to go with it, and it's aubergine. So the Bourrette de Soie is 350 meters per 50 grams. So it's a lace weight, and of course the mohair is also lace weight. It's 75% kid mohair and 30% silk, 450 meters per 50 grams. So I got 4 of these and 3 of these, and I'm marling them together to knit a sweater. I've already shown it to you. This is the one I'm currently knitting on most. I've separated for the sleeves, and I'm knitting round and round and round. And now I'm doing some kind of yarn management, but I think I'm going to be okay because I've not finished the body, but I still have a full skein of mohair and a partial, more than half of the other ball that I've started, and I still have 2 balls of silk. So I think it's going to be okay for me to make long sleeves. I will talk about it. There is one thing. I did not think about changing yarn on the side. I just did the way I usually do, and it shows. So I need to think about something. Anyway, this combo is just pure luxury. I don't recall how much I paid for each individual one. So I paid 130 euros for 4 skeins of the silk and 3 skeins of the mohair. So it's about 30 euros per 50 grams for the mohair, and maybe over just under 30 euros for the 50 gram silk. I'm not sure. I just made I just made one payment at the same company. So it's going to be a very luxurious sweater with the sorrel sweater that I made with La Bien-Aimé's yarn several years back. Is one of the most luxurious sweater I will have bought for myself. And when I was in Le Fil de la Manche, I wanted to buy some for some of you, but I did not get any of that because I wanted to test it out first and see how it is going. They had a sweater on with the bourrette de soie on its own, and it was too sheer and perfect, perfect summer t-shirt, but too sheer for me. And doubling the bourrette de soie did not make much sense. So it's going to be more of a wintry sweater thanks to the mohair, but it's going to be a warmer and more opaque fabric. It's perfect as far as opaque fabric, but it shows when I'm weaving my ends in on the backside when I change skeins. So I need to think about a way to hide that. Next, it was not an impulse buy because I had already thought about 2 shawls I wanted to be making. Sorry, I have so many things on the floor. The first one that I want to be making is Herbivore by Stephen West, and I already had that shawl in mind for a very long time because Herbivore is, in my opinion, with 3 spots you increase on a regular basis, it's going to be sitting on the shoulders quite nicely. So I had seen that yarn, I went around and I went back to buy it. I've already bought some yarn. I did not knit with it. When I was last summer in Atelier Pure Laine, when she was having a 10-year anniversary, and she was having friends of her coming in, having some little booth in her farm. It's Brin de Malice. She's hand dyeing local yarn. So this one is La Pyrénéenne. It's yarn from the Pyrenees. What is there not to love with that? And so she's dyeing it by hand with plants. It's a Tarascon breed of sheep from the Pyrenees. It's 390 meters per 100 grams, so it's fingering weight, I guess. And it's violet. It's violet that is a particular type of violet. You can see it on camera. You can see some bluer spots and you can see some rusty spots. From a distance, it doesn't look violet or purple to me, it looks gray. I had seen these skeins when I was walking by, and when I went back at the end of the day, they were still there. So she had dyed only 4 skeins of these because she's tried, and so she's made something for her and she confirmed it was working. She dyed the skeins with indigo, and you know that indigo dyes bleed a lot, and she did not want to have people lose all of the color of her yarn after several washes. So she over dyed the yarn, the indigo yarn, with some light bath of, it's a red dyed, a plant that gives a red dye. The name escapes me right now, so I will write it down below. But it's not the first bath. It's a bath that she had already dyed several other skeins to have the full bright red or orangey brick color. And so she overdyed the indigo yarn, the indigo dyed yarn, with that type of rusty color. And this is the result. I thought it was so interesting. So she says, the yarn might dye you a bit your fingers once you are knitting with it, but it doesn't bleed much and it should not dye the other pieces of wool you would be wearing with. So I will be making the Herbivore shawl with it. I'm just looking if she's written which dyes she's used. No. So I will try to remember to retrieve the name of the other dye. So Brin de Malice, I like what she does, and she takes some local yarn, and she did not have any yarn from Atelier Pure Laine from Frédéric, because Frédéric retired, so she's still making yarn, but I guess just for herself. She doesn't have enough to give to other people or sell to other people to hand dye. So I think it was a nice one, and I'm very happy I did buy that. The next and last one is a yarn that I had seen. I need to charge my computer. It's almost out of battery. It's a yarn that I had seen for a very, very, very long time, that I had been willing to buy for a very long time. And my brother and sister-in-law went to Wesson, where this yarn is from. And Wesson is one of the most western part of France, in Brittany, of France mainland. Also, of course, there are other territories that are French in other parts of the world, but it's one of the islands that is on the most western point in France. It's a very rough island, rough weather, and they have some specific sheep breed there. And I've always been interested into getting some of their yarn. They have a shop on the mainland, not on the island. And when my brother and sister-in-law went there, the little shop on the island was closed, and they were on vacation, so they did some other things for themselves. Anyway, the yarn is boucle laine. So boucle laine, this Wesson yarn is 100 grams and 400 meters. It's 50% yarn from sheep from the island and 50% yarn from sheep from the mainland, from the main coastline, but on the same area. And this Wesson yarn is a very rustic yarn that will hold on to itself very, very well. So I'm not sure they say which dye they were using. So no, they don't say the colorway, the dye they were using. So the colorway is Bouvreuil pivoine. Bouvreuil is a bird, and pivoine is a flower. So not sure what does that mean. Anyway, it's that type of tomato red, but still a bit of more brick red than bright tomato. And to go with it, I'm going to tell you which shawl I want to make. Is the same yarn in Fleur d'Amandier. So I have 2 skeins, 200 grams of the red one and 150 grams of the pink one. And believe me or not, these are the same dyes. Some of it on the first bath, and some of it on a very later bath, where most of the yarn had taken most of the dye. I love it. So what I will be making with that, and I had been looking for yarn to make that shawl for a very long time, is Ma by Natasha Hornby. And I had seen people doing that kind of combination. When I retrieved the pictures, it was more like red and white. And in the end, I'm not sure I wanted some red and white. The red and pinkish one, it's almost a bit orangey, because this one is a bit tomato orangey red. So you see, these two go very well together. And Natasha Hornby has her own samples in very darker colors and more moody colors. And I've seen people making the shawl with red and white. And to me, Mar has some kind, please don't be offended, but a Chinese style about it, about the way the shapes are on the shawl. And I was thinking, when people did the red and white, and in my memory, it was some kind of brick and pink type, or yellow type of colorway. It was more on the Chinese type of colors you can find on some fabrics and clothes and stuff like that. So in the end, I did not find any yellow color that was soft enough, because all of their yellows that they had that day were really bright and it was not fitting any of the reds they had. So she came up with that combination and I am very, very happy with it. So I will be making Mar by Natasha Hornby. Maybe I will keep those two shawls to be knitting when I'm in the hospital and when for my second hip surgery in September, or when I'm in the recovery center that I will be knitting on, because more herbivore is going to be an easy knit. More is not going to be a difficult knit, but maybe a more challenging knit. Anyway, I've already knit Yara by Natasha Hornby, which is on the same idea, and it was not difficult to me. So I think it's going to be okay. So yes, I have two shawls quantities that I really had a lot of thought about it before I went to the Yarn Festival. One impulse buy for a very beautiful t-shirt and some other things for you that I'm not going to be showing you right now. Okay, so there you have it. I may not call that video drowning in yarn because it's not a nice feeling when I'm thinking about it, but I may call it swimming in yarn or bathing in yarn, which is a much better idea and much better feeling. Anyway, you see, as I say, yarn is a sneaky beast that finds its way to me. I have unlocked now most, if not all, of my kryptonites, yarn fantasy buying that I wanted to buy and that I did not, and that was one of the reasons I started my no buy then mindful buy project. And the La Bien-Aimée Cory Confetti yarn that I had given up on, I had been thinking, well, I will never knit with that yarn and it's going to be fine, has come to my life, and it's a beautiful yarn and I can't wait. I'm going to cast it on cooler days later on. But you see, it came into my life and I'm so baffled that it did, that some self-changing 100% wool yarn came also into my life. Second kryptonite and last kryptonite unlocked. And some of you who went on vacation thought of me. I mean, it's just incredible. So some of this yarn I did by myself. Some of it came to me. And it is all thanks to you, to the community we are building together, that we are sharing ideas and thoughts together about our hobby, about our craft, about our life, things we miss in our life and maybe we compensate by overbuying. And then my project is to kind of reflect on that. Do I feel overwhelmed? I do feel overwhelmed about the yarn quantity that is around me right now and your generosity. The yarn I bought, I had thought about it, and except the silk and mohair sweater, that was an impulse buying. I had thought about it and I had plans for it, and I bought with intention and purpose. And all of the summer yarn that I bought previous of my accident, I've been knitting on with that. So, and I have 2 finished t-shirts and one tank on the way. So I'm very happy with the way this project is handling me and I am handling the project. The way it influences me and the way I am influencing the project and making it evolved. And I do appreciate all of the conversations we are having under the videos whenever I publish one. I hope I will have enough time to edit that one before tomorrow. And yes, I do hope that your craft, that your knitting is bringing you joy and happiness. And I do hope that the time we are being together is kind of a little bubble of pleasure and joy and happiness about knitting, about yarn, that will be into your life. I guess I'm going to be over an hour. That's going to be too long. But anyway, um, into your life, that kind of little moment you are knitting with me. I had brought my knitting, but I guess I'm not going to be knitting right now because I'm very hungry. But anyway, that you are knitting with me, and it's kind of a parenthesis, it's kind of a little bubble where we can be together, leave all of the world problems and troubles and craziness. And when you think you've seen all of the craziness, the possible craziness, there is some more unbelievable craziness that's coming around. And Ramses is a bit tired of me not letting him on the table because of all of the yarn. I'm not sure what he's going to be doing. And yes, with all of the craziness that is around, okay, you're the key. You saw a bit of his tail. All of the craziness that is in the world right now, it's just unbelievable. I did not think I would see that in my lifetime. And I do think of all of the people who are suffering, who are in a less better place than I am, because I consider myself fortunate to be able to be talking about my knitting problems and my knitting buying habits to you, and that are so small compared to what others are experimenting either in their own life, the country they are living in, or their health issues. I know some of you are very serious health issues, and what I can assure you is that I will be knitting with you in my mind. I will be making little stitches and sending them out to the world, to you, from across the big ponds on either side of Europe and within Europe and on the other continents too. And yes, I thank you a lot for being here with me, and I hope I will see you next time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Top. So, no order. The one that I bought is Louise by Natasha Hornby. And I have not knit a lot about it on it. Top, but making a plain. This time I hit the record button. I had to film over a whole segment because I had just forgotten to hit. the record button. So next, another very humbling present. I was, also top. One of these very perfect grayish baby blue and the clear one. The plain